How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, about 10 minutes ago, I was flicking through my Twitter feed, and sadly and tragically, I came across a tweet from my local paper, the Manchester Evening News. I'll put a link in the description below for this story about the sad and tragic passing of a serving prisoner at Forest Bank Prison by the name of Michael McDonagh. He's 27 years old. McDonaghs are a big family here in Manchester, big Irish family. Like I say, my thoughts and prayers go out to the friends and the family of Michael. God bless his soul, may he rest in peace. And God bless the family and look after the family through this sad and tragic circumstances. I'm going to read the story, guys. I'm then going to cover my bit at the end. Just how many more prisoners have to leave prison in a body bag before there's accountability and things change. I'm going to just do the story, guys, anyway. Sad and tragic. I hate bringing these stories to you guys, but people need to know so that Michael's death isn't in vain, and so that hopefully his family get justice. So the headline reads, "How many deaths in that jail before someone will listen? Mum demands answers after her son dies at Forest Bank." Michael McDonagh, 27, God bless his soul, was found dead in his cell at the Salford jail. He's the 5th inmate to die there in the space of a year. A mum has spoken of the devastation after her son was found dead at Forest Bank. Prison bosses are investigating the death of Michael McDonagh, 27, who was a serving inmate at the Salford jail. Dad of one Michael was found unresponsive in his cell on Tuesday, February the 19th. So that's the Tuesday just gone, guys. Michael is the 5th inmate to die at the jail in the space of a year. He had been returned to custody following a serious driving offence in 2018. But his mother, Margaret McDonagh, my thoughts and prayers are with Margaret, God bless her, says her son suffered with mental health problems and he should never have been returned to the general population wings. He had paranoid schizophrenia. He was not well, Margaret says. I pleaded for him to be moved. He should have never been in prison. I asked for him to be sectioned. If they had moved him from that kennel, he may still be alive. Forest Bank bosses say the cause of Michael's death is not yet known. An internal investigation and an investigation by the Prison and Probation Ombudsman is ongoing. The case is being passed on to the coroner and an inquest is due to take place in the coming months, but Margaret is demanding answers. She says Michael was unhappy at the prison, where he'd been for the past 6 months, and he had been moved from a vulnerable prisoners wing to the prison's general population wings. He said he didn't like it, she says. He told me, "It's bad, Mum." As a mum to your child, you have your child in a zoo, because that's what it is. It's awful. He kept asking me day in, day out, "Get him out, get him out." He said, "I need to get out, Mum, I need to get out." He would have been out in 18 months. Everyone in the prison, they've all done stuff, but they are human, and that's my baby. How many deaths will happen in that jail before anybody listens? I would never wish this pain on any mother. Margaret has also criticised prison bosses for their handling of the case, claiming that she's been left confused about who to speak to about her son's death. Margaret says the news of Michael's death was broken to her over the phone because she was out when the 2 prison representatives visited her home in Failsworth, Oldham, on Tuesday morning. She says she has struggled to get any information about how her son died. I had a phone call the morning he died saying, "Is this Margaret McDonagh? We need to speak to you. We're at your house." I told them not to go in the house because my children were in there. I was saying, "What's wrong? What's happened?" They said Michael had been found that morning deceased. I was on the phone in my car. I was screaming. She adds, "They have not given me any explanation. I don't know what happened to him. They said it looked like he had fallen asleep watching TV." Margaret, who's a Catholic, says she has since called the prison chaplain in the hope of gaining some comfort, but says her call was not returned. She's also visited the mortuary where Michael's body is being held and says she begged to see him. I said I wanted to see him. but I couldn't touch him. I had to look at him through the glass, she said. I have not been able to kiss him or touch him. I just want him home. I saw him, but I couldn't go near him. He was so beautiful, such a beautiful son. He was a fun-loving, lovable, beautiful, warm-hearted boy. The Manchester Evening News understands that the prison director and a family liaison officer visited Margaret at her home on the morning of her son's death. HMP Forest Bank is run by the private firm Sodexo on behalf of the Ministry of Justice. A spokesperson confirmed that a prisoner had died and said an investigation is ongoing. We can confirm that a prisoner died on Tuesday the 19th of February at HMP Forest Bank. Our thoughts are with the family and we continue to provide them with support through our family liaison officer. With all deaths in custody, there will be investigation by the police and independent prisons and probation ombudsman, and therefore we are unable to comment further at this stage. There's a picture of Michael there, guys. You can see it at the start as well. God bless his soul. Now, the director of the prison, or the director, for anyone that doesn't know, is the name of the governor in a private prison. They call them, like I say, directors. Now, it sounds like it's called Matthew Spence or Matt Spence, if he's still in post. Like I say, the fact they've attended the address and then decided to ring her to tell her over the phone is just shocking, guys. Right? Like I say, there's no more worse of a place to die than in prison. Away from your friends, away from your family. He was a father of one, Michael, God bless his soul. The prison stated at the bottom, let me just go back to the bottom bit, that they said they were still, it says here, our thoughts are with the family and we continue to provide them with support through our family liaison officer. Now let me tell you guys, I have spoken to at least a dozen prisoners' families who have sadly lost someone in this way in prison, whether it be suicide, whether it be a drug overdose, do you know what I mean, or whether it be natural causes. But the fact is, guys, yeah, the prison will know the circumstances and stuff like that. They just don't divulge information. I'm so happy that Margaret, God bless her soul, and like I say, my thoughts and prayers are with Margaret McDonagh, do you know what I mean? Massively so, guys. And I know you guys will pay tribute as well and pay your respects in the comment section below, please do. I'm glad that Margaret has taken this to the local paper, because the reality is the prison, given half a chance, it wouldn't see the light of day. The prison, when there is a death in custody, whatever the circumstances, the prison don't release a statement to they don't give a press release and tell the world there's been a death in custody or a prisoner has died. No. Somebody from a friend or a family or a former prisoner, I've even broken stories about deaths in custody myself through prison contacts, right? We go to the media then contact the Ministry of Justice. The Ministry of Justice then say, yes, we can confirm there was a death in custody on this date, blah, blah, blah. The fact that they say that the family liaison officer is supporting the family, I don't buy it. All the families I've ever spoken to that have lost somebody in prison, they've not been supported by the prison in any which way. And the thing is, my advice to Margaret would be, don't take what the prisons say at face value. Dig and dig and dig, right? He could have been on his bell. For those that don't know, in your cell there's like a buzzer. I know people are going to touch base with the fact that he was on a VP wing. He was in for driving offences, guys. It's actually confirmed there. He was in for driving offences, but rather, like I say, the vulnerable prisoners wing doesn't just house paedophiles, rapists, child murderers, and everything else. Like I say, prisoners with mental health issues, former prison officers, former police officers, people that are in debt, they can obviously put themselves on VP as well. The fact that Michael, God bless his soul, was a paranoid schizophrenic, you can't put a paranoid schizophrenic man or woman in prison and expect them to survive and adapt. It's not going to happen. A paranoid schizophrenic or any prisoner with severe mental health issues, They shouldn't be put in prison. Simply put, they should be put in a psychiatric unit. Now, for me, prison's full of prisoners with mental health issues, you understand. Now, like I say, in prison, to house a prisoner, whether they've got mental health issues or not, 40 grand a year, give or take, right? To house a mentally ill prisoner in a high security facility, so let's say Ashworth, Rampton, Broadmoor, you're talking about £350,000 a year, right? So prison, what I'm saying to you is prison is used for human warehousing some of the most vulnerable and susceptible people in society because it's cheaper, simply put. And like I say, the care from the prison is absolutely piss poor. It's shocking. The family and the mother and the family of Michael McDonagh, God bless his soul, will be demanding answers. The prison have got a very good way of wiping its own arse so that the truth never gets out. It says here that an inquest is due to take place in the next few months. It can take 2 or 3 years for an inquest for the findings to fully come to fruition. I would demand everything. My advice to Margaret McDonagh, if she watches this, and the wider McDonagh family, is don't leave any stone unturned. Go after it. You want the night clock is like the incident book from the night. I'd ask for CCTV. It could have been on his buzzer. You know what I mean? Right? People in that prison know what's gone on. Right? Of course they do. Now, like I say, there's many different things that could be at play, and I'm not going to speculate, guys. Like I say, the first thing I heard when I heard mental health, when I read the story, God bless his soul, the first thing I thought was sadly and tragically suicide. But like I say, it'd be wrong to speculate. I'm sure it will all come out eventually. Again, to Margaret McDonagh. Margaret, I've spoken to many families that have gone through the same loss of you're going through right now. And again, God bless Michael's soul, and my thoughts and prayers are with you guys. If you would like to speak to another prisoner's mother who sadly lost somebody whilst in custody, her son tragically took his own life in a prison in Liverpool about 2 years ago this year, and she's guided many other families through the prison and probation ombudsman investigation, legal course of action, how the inquest works and things like that. I've got her number in my phone. If you would like her contact number, I will reach out to her, ask her. I know she'll say yes, and I will gladly pass the number on to you, because the reality is the prison do not give you the support they should do. They should be coming out and answering every question you've got. Sadly, that won't happen. Now, I know that what the prison will say is, oh, we give you £3,000-4,000 towards the cost of a funeral. I've heard 2,800, I've heard £3,000, £4,000. It's not going to bring anybody's loved one back. But if there is a death in custody, whether it be natural causes, overdose, suicide, the Ministry of Justice, as a matter of courtesy, I feel like it's hush-hush money. But the amount of prisoners' families that have lost somebody whilst in prison, whether it be through medical negligence that's contributed in death, whether it be an overdose, whether it be suicide when prisoners are on act books, is off the scale. Loads of families are currently suing the Ministry of Justice. It's not about compensation, it's about justice. And like I say, the inquest and stuff like that, the prison and probation ombudsman are supposed to be independent. I don't buy that personally. The fact that the mother, Margaret, God bless her, right, has rang the prison to speak to the chaplain, a man of the cloth, a religious figure within the prison, and they haven't, as a Catholic woman, and they haven't even had the decency to return her call. Just, prisoners are, unfortunately, guys, right, prisoners' lives are disposable, and nobody cares, and they should care. And like I say, a mentally ill prisoner, a paranoid schizophrenic diagnosed, should not be in prison. Prison's hard enough if you haven't got a mental health issue, right? And believe me, plenty of prisoners have, right? But if you've got a mental health issue, it's just off the scale. The psychological toll it takes on you is astronomical, right? Like I say, you spiral into depression, prisoners self-harm, prisoners attempt suicide, others just carry it out. Now, like I say, I'm not going to speculate in the circumstances of Michael's tragic passing. But as soon as I heard the story, my brain went straight to suicide. I hope that's not the case. But however you want it, whatever the circumstances are, it's left a mother without a son, a father without a son, probably brothers, sisters, siblings, cousins, I mean, aunties and uncles, and himself, Michael, was a father, so he leaves behind a child. 5 deaths in a year, guys. What is going on at that prison? I told you, every time I cover Forest Bank, the next story, the next negative story is not very far away at all. If Michael wasn't in prison, would this have gone on? No, I don't believe it would have. But like I say, my message to the McDonagh family and to Margaret, if she sees this, firstly, my thoughts and prayers are with you. And secondly, if you would like guidance from a prisoner's mother who's gone through exactly the same situation, I know that she would be willing to guide you and help you and be at the end of the phone to give you any support that you may need in the next few coming weeks, months and years. She's done it for other prisoners' families and she's fantastic. Her son was recalled to prison for driving offences. 5 days later, he tragically took his own life. Like I say, I'm not saying that Michael has. We wait for the inquest and stuff and for the coroner to issue the death certificate and everything to find out the full circumstances. But if you need any help or guidance and stuff through the Prison Probation Ombudsman, the investigation, the inquest, how things work, or even a legal course of action, she will guide you 1,000,000%. I'll put my contact number in the comment section below, sorry, in the description below. And feel free to give me a ring anytime, night or day. And I'll pass that number over, no problem at all. 27-year-old, a father, rest of his life ahead of him. Another prisoner leaving prison in a body bag, guys. Too many. 92 prisoners last year left prison in a body bag through self-inflicted deaths. 325 all in all. That's overdoses, deaths that have resulted from natural causes, medical negligence that resulted in death, suicides and everything in between. 325 families buried a loved one last year in prison. This year, we're in February, we've already had a murder, right? We've already seen a death in custody at Berwyn, right? And then there's them stories that don't even see the light of day. Demand answers, never give up the fight, and justice for Michael McDonagh and Michael McDonagh's family. Gonna leave it there, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Please pay your respects to Michael in the comment section, guys. God bless him. May he rest in peace. Cody out.